Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. You are here live now with your sister with the curly braids. I am going to be really quick. Family, it has been a minute since I've sat down with you live. I literally just left African Diaspora News Channel, the network. I do content on live Tuesday through Thursdays. I also give other content there as well, international content in addition to my lives. So be sure to check me out there as well, family. Hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. You all know I say this all the time. Many of you are used to finding me on other platforms and networks that I helped to build over the years. Of course, there's been some changes on some of those other networks, but you, of course, can still find me um, on the platform that I just mentioned, ADNC network, and I'm on different platforms with them, and also my channel here, Vicki Dillard.tv. I'm trying to make sure that I don't abandon this one altogether and do better by going live. But I got so much behind the scenes stuff and projects that's going to be released this year, so that's been taking up a lot of my time. In addition, of course, making sure that I put my health first, which is why I changed going live 5 days a week like I used to for years. And in addition to that, I was giving content on other platforms. Yes. So I'm trying to make sure from time to time I put content on my channel here, beloved. I still post in the community page when I'm doing different things. So thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, Miss Sharifa. She said I was at African Diaspora and you were on fire. Thank you, precious. But I wanted to come to you all real quickly because I have a meeting actually in just a few minutes. And so I said, let me pop in real quick with the family. Yes, y'all hit that thumbs up button and share, share, share. How many of you all know very quickly, family, about the movie Sinners that's been out? Now, this is going to shock some of you all. Y'all, I just told my assistant some days ago, hey, I want us to get this. I want us to actually watch it together, blah, 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 right? But before I even had a chance to sit down, family, to watch the movie, because everybody and their mom has been talking about it, everybody's giving interpretations, breakdowns, spiritual insight, political insights, all kinds of stuff to it, right? And so, but in the process of me looking into it, I was seeing online so much hate for the film from the haters, the typical haters, and the white supremacists and all those folks, right? And then I was shocked to find out that some of our own people were not real happy with the fact that the FBAs may have actually had something to do with the inspiration of this particular movie. I hear some of y'all saying you loved it. Hey, hey, beautiful in green, looking so lovely. Thank you so much. Who said that? Somebody else says that you loved it. Somebody said, I'm going to check it out. Yes, I plan on doing the same. But my very short broadcast, I've been talking about this on African Diaspora News. I've been talking about this on different platforms. I said, look, let me tell my family about it real quick. Family. Can you all hear this okay? Of course, this is on the Copyright Act of 1976. He did several interviews. How many of you have been seeing any of the interviews he's been doing, right? Somebody said white people hate it because they the villains. Child. Watch this. So there are different kind of folks that are not too happy. And including some of the members of the Boulets. Some of the members of the Boulets are upset. And I'm going to tell you why here in just a minute. Why some of the Boulets are upset. Our sister said, yes, it's a deep movie. I love the dance scene. I felt my ancestors dancing with me for years. Yes, you always big on that. I want y'all to watch this, okay? I told you I have a meeting here quickly. And remember, I said he's done many interviews, right, about this. I've been watching some of his interviews. But among many interviews that he's done, I'll listen to this one interview. It's about 31, 32 minutes that he did with this lady named Amy Goodman, right? Y'all, I'm going to skip around. I promise you, we're not going to listen 30 minutes because I got to go. But I'm going to skip around to a couple of points on it. I just want you to know, I want you to listen to a little bit on two different parts of something that he said. Like I said, I've been discussing this on other platforms as well, but I said, let me stop to about my youth. Let me talk to my YouTube family about this and Vicki Dillard.tv family. Okay, so now remember, he just was about 5 days ago doing this interview, and I want you to listen to. Is this the? Let me make sure I get this right. Okay, fam, I think I'm getting close to it here. Can y'all hear this?
His conversation around it on writing was that it was basically a combination of a book called Peyton's Place and Dracula, and I just love the book, and I always wanted to make some.
Yes, okay.
So I took that opportunity here on this movie.
And talk about what it was like for you going into the Deep South to make this film. I mean, you made the film around New Orleans, is that right? And the culture there and your past work, and your journeys to Africa with Zinzi, your wife.
Yeah, absolutely. So this movie was a very interesting opportunity for me to do some research about my lineage. And I had that opportunity before with the Panther films. And in that situation, me being a foundational Black American, my family has been here, for over 400 years, essentially, in North America. But the Panther films allowed me to travel back to the continent of Africa and spend time there and contemplate our distant ancestry as it relates to the continent, as it relates to the diaspora. This movie afforded me the opportunity to go back to my more recent lineage, 100 years or so, and go back to, the Mississippi, a state that I had never been to. I'm almost 40 years old, and my matrilineal grandfather was born in Mississippi. My uncle, who was so important to my life, was there until he was a young man, and I had never been. And it was a beautiful experience.
I gotta stop there. So why is folks mad that he's sitting there associating with the FBA? But what's so extraordinary about this family? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. I see some of y'all in here saying, what? Listen. How many of you all know that FBA is a term that was specifically started from foundational Black Americans? That's what the acronym stands for. Us, those of us in the grassroots, specifically our brother Tariq Nasheed. I credit him really for that specific term, even though, of course, we was always pushing reparations. We were always pushing for justice. But how many of you all know there are other groups that popped up that are little clubs and stuff? They got too many suspect ties to the Democrat Party. They got a lot of different group stuff going on. One of the little leaders over there some years ago attacked me, child. If you attacking me, as down as I am for reparations, you got to be suspect. So because they doing some stuff they was doing, I don't know. I'm not even going to speak on that because whatever. But FBA was important because FBA is not a club. It's not a corporation. It's not a business. It's a lineage. How many of y'all know that's what that is? You can't have a president of FBA. You don't have secretaries and stuff. The FBA was specifically brought into existence to delineate about this specific and unique lineage. It's not about being a divisive, you understand? It's not about trying to start no drama, and it's certainly not about trying to start no mess. It was actually trying to get out of a mess of people trying to mix us in a social weirdo cocktail. Stop. Talk back to me, somebody. Smooch is back, beloved. Are y'all listening? Everybody hit that thumbs up button, share. Yeah, I got to go real quick. If you're just coming in, beloved, be sure to watch the whole broadcast. Some of you all have seen me on other platforms and networks. Somebody just said you just saw me on African Diaspora News channel. I have been talking about this for the past couple of days, but I wanted to come to my channel and talk to you about it personally. Of course, you all know I haven't been doing as much content here. But I wanted to pop in from time to time to make sure that I keep my personal channel going. Yes, y'all watch this. Hey, Miss Aquarius, that's my beautiful moderators in the building. So did you all hear that? Now that's important, family. Why? How many of you all know that FBA is specific and it's a term unique to us? Yes. Now, even if a person does not say, well, I don't associate with the FBA, that doesn't mean that they're not necessarily FBA. Talk black to me, somebody. But we embrace it. Yes. And we embrace it specifically for justice for those of us who are responsible for the creation of this thing that's known as the United States of America. We are not immigrants, legal or illegal. Talk black to me, somebody. We were forcibly brought here. And what distinguishes us, if you want to get real technical and throw us in the loop like some of you all have been trying to do so desperately, saying, well, hey, you guys are immigrants. We're all immigrants. No, we're not. And you know the difference. You playing dumb. But to the degree that you want us to go down this little weird rabbit trail with you, which we're not going all the way down there, we'll let you go down the trail and shove you through the little hole for the trail. We're going to stay on the outside. And from the outside of the cave and the hole that we're going to shove you down, little rabbit, to go way, way down by yourself. We're going to be on the outside screaming and hollering on the inside. But just FYI, the Constitution legalized slavery. So if you want to be real technical like that, the fact that they labeled us as property and the enslaved, we were codified in law, even as property, as diabolical and as wicked and as unrighteous and as immoral and as unjust as that is, it is nevertheless true. So we can get real technical around this piece. Now, how many of you all know that the boulets and the powers that shouldn't be mocked us for separating ourselves? How many of y'all know they keep trying to come against us about having that delineation? Yes. How many of y'all know people playing dumb like they don't know what that means? So when you all saw me in Washington, D.C. last year for the FBA's second reparations rally, and we spoke powerfully and continued to make our demands to these United States of America, in addition to the work that we're doing by seeding the message and growing this energy and this lineage, the consciousness of this lineage amongst our people from the ground up, from folks just like you, without any of the massive resources that those that are in legacy media, cable media have. All them folks that mocked us on CNN, the MSNBC folks, the Joy Reids and stuff that target us. All of the folks that work for mainstream white media that mocked us and targeted us, most of them don't have jobs. How many of y'all know they don't have jobs? How many of y'all know the one that got in the White House that attacked us? She doesn't have, but she thought she was going to be press secretary. I've been prophesied to her way in advance. That was never going to happen, ma'am. Your destiny is football. Your destiny was Broncos. You buddies, you pen pals with Shadur and Stout. Watch this. How many of y'all know all of those folks that looked powerful, that had direct access to so-called power, beloved, presidential candidates, PACs, mainstream media outlets, all those folks mocked us in the beginning, remember? But then we shaped the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Representatives by being consistent over the past several years. Yes. Then somebody of Ryan Coogler's caliber. Yes. Yes. Filmmaker specifically not only shouts out foundational Black Americans. He said, I am a foundational Black Americans. Notice, somebody said, I saw Vicki in DC. She was fired. Thank you, precious. Watch this. Notice, he did not just invoke his, as he said, his distant ancestry to disrespect it or anything like that. He said that was my distant ancestry, and he said he explored that for his film Black Panthers. How many of y'all know that had to do with Wakanda, and that was related to the continent of Africa, right? He said he explored that lineage of himself then. He said, but this time, this movie, this film was meant to do what, y'all? He said to explore his most recent ancestry. He said specifically the last 100 and something years. And then he said, what? My family. And then he invoked, of course, his matrilineal side in particular, grandfather and uncle. He said they have been in North America for 400 years. So my question to you all is, why are you all so upset that we say that? Isn't that powerful? And why are folks triggered? You know why folks are triggered? All the ones that mocked us, that had big time TV shows, or they were on big time networks, or they had access to the White House, or they were an aide to a particular congressperson, or they're a big shot law firm for this, that, and the third, or they're an advisor to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris's campaign. All those folks, and how many of y'all know some of them called Vicki was messing with me and coming against me by name? How many of y'all know that? Why should we care about Vicki Dillard? How many of y'all know that the Tamika Mallorys of the world, the Charlemagnes of the world, Charlemagne shouted me out some time back, but he want to have everybody on there but me, right? Because there are safe people that he considers to be revolutionaries, and there's others that he knows damn well isn't bought off. And you can't control me. How many of you all know there's a reason why the former press secretary of the United States of America, the voice of the U.S. to the world, kept me blocked for years on both of her channels, on both of her social media platforms personally? Why do I bring that up? Because you got to ask yourself, why do they care about this girl from Mississippi who's using alternative media, including and especially social media, to seed her message? How many of you all know it's the power of the narrative? It's got spirit attached to it. And how many of you all know they know darn well that that can be very contagious and very dangerous? So what did they do? They ignored me. They mocked me. They disrespected me. Yes? And so time to time, when you all see somebody else that's not typically a part of the Black grassroots, shout Vicki out, some of y'all tripping, they mad at some of those folks that say, well, why you gonna give her legitimacy? Trick, I am already legitimate as a divine being. You're the illegitimate one. You ain't got no business holding the places that you have, which is why you're falling right before our eyes. What you mean? Giving her legitimacy. You think you too good to deal with somebody like me. And you're falling right before our very eyes. Now, how many of you all know that they are real pissed that somebody like Ryan Coogler, who has a global microphone, is saying, I'm identifying with that specific lineage, a term that's coming from that specific group of people? I haven't talked to this young man. I don't know what all is in his mind. All I'm telling you is that we can infer and use his direct words and actions, yes, because that's a term that's not broad or general, that was created and coined by the Black grassroots, specifically our brother Tariq. Are y'all listening to me today? Somebody just said that's remarkable, isn't it? But that's who we are. One of my brothers tagged me some days ago. He made a post about this recently, and he's tagged me and he quoted me. He said, Vicki Dillard has said, he said, like Vicki Dillard says all the time, I've been prophesying this for years. He tagged me. He said, in fact, Sincere the God is the one that did that. He said, Vicki always says that power is coming from the ground up. I always knew it. And this is what's shaking them about us. How many of y'all know that the ones that mocked us now are all of a sudden trying to act like they FBA and doing broadcasts like us now? How many of y'all know the Angela Ryes of the world, the Tiffany Crosses of the world? And y'all, Tiffany Cross the other day, she was on with what they call Young People's. Someone sent me that link. And I try to keep up with some of the stuff that they do from time to time, but it's overwhelming. And so there's no way in the world I could ever watch all this stuff. So I got to do little, okay, 10 minutes and then click off type stuff. But I do try to keep up with the spirit and the energy, what them devils are up to. Watch this. So, I know they got a podcast together, right? Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, and Andrew Gillum and all that. And of course, we got to use them just like I talk about Roland. It's not because you're powerful and important. We got to use you because you're the proxy for all the losers and the boule and all the Black folks that came against us. So let's be clear. That's why I have to invoke you. You're a proxy for all the Black losers and the Black anti-Black people. All the Black looking people that's pushing party over your own. All of you all that ain't really pushing reparations, all of you that's just trying to get a White House suite. That's why I invoke you, not because you're real powerful and important. It's to laugh and humiliate you for coming against us because you deserve it. You've shown yourself to be an enemy to my people, so of course I got to call you out. Watch this. Tiffany was on, and I get why I saw, I looked at the link that was sent, but I get why I was sent the link because people felt like she was specifically talking to me because she said, talking about me, because she said, yeah, because how she had a problem, with people with hair and nails. Baby, child. And how she would basically look at them crazy and not serious. And ma'am, you don't have a job, though. And stop. Talk back to me, somebody. Y'all better get out with that stuff. Talking about looking at folks crazy and about you can't take somebody serious with hair and nails. Girl, what? The hell I look like being normal? Boring and basic and stuff. What does the man say in the song? What's the, y'all help me in the chat. Does he say in the song, calm down for what? Make sure I'm saying that right, because I can easily make up words to a song that don't go with the song. Somebody make sure I'm getting that right. Somebody fact check me real quick in the chat. Y'all know sometimes the chat can be slow. Does somebody say in the song, calm down for what? Somebody said, bring it down for what? I'm saying calm down then. But the principle is the same, yes? Aquarius said it's just jealous. So yeah, calm down, bring it down. What am I bringing anything down for? Calming down for what? Telling Deion Sanders and his son, what you got all that stuff on? What you mean when we got all this stuff on, fool? We magical. Why we sitting there trying to blend in? Calm down for what? Basic? Boring? With your insecure self. I don't be asking permission for stuff. I do me. In all of its glory. Just everything big and glorious and what I want and what I like. And if you like it too, okay, great, wonderful. I'm a 46-year-old girl from Mississippi. What I care about what you think, a child? Been through hell and high water. I'm here for an assignment from the divine realms. What do I look like? Worried about what a mere mortal thinks. Calm down for what? Bring it down for what? Be you? No. God is no. Get to the next part, Vicki. Y'all, the entire 32-minute interview was off the chain. Y'all, I gotta go. Look, ooh, I'm getting close to the meeting. I gotta get this link because I gotta get on this meeting. Watch this, quick. I don't like look, he said I be triggered and stuff. Let me skip. Again, this is on the Copyright Act of 1976. Y'all listen to a little bit more. He said it's only a couple more minutes, okay? Can y'all give me a couple minutes? Somebody said it's turned down for what? Child, I done said, what I say? I said calm down for what? Somebody else told me bring it down. I wouldn't have said it unless y'all told me bring it down. Somebody else just said turn down for what? All that. What am I turning it down for? If it's too much volume, if the glory of Vicki Dillard is too much, you know what you can do? With all of the billions probably of channels and people on social media, you know what you can do? When the wattage, see, everybody doesn't have the capacity to hold this level of wattage. So what you're supposed to do when it's too much for you, when I'm not for you, what you're supposed to do? Somebody help me in the chat for the people that's confused. And they sit on there and tell you how they don't like you. You too much. Why you like that? This and the third. What you supposed to do? What you supposed to do? When you come across a Vicki Dillard and you can't take the wattage. Somebody put a battery in the chat. Somebody put a light in the chat. Then somebody that's got some sense put a couple of suns in the chat. Hillary said change the station. See, people that's low self-esteem, they think you're supposed to conform to keep you at the station. I tell you, you better get your off my station. You better get your. Care about you watching you ninja go. Come down, turn it down, bring it down, pull it down, pee it down, get down for what? No. The wattage. Some of y'all got emojis of little lights and flickers. The flashlight, light bulb. No, put me some suns in there. This wattage is too much. You just got to turn away, go away. Turn away, go away. See, that's the difference between me and you. You think I'm supposed to conform to you so you can like me. And then you think I'm supposed to be insecure because you didn't say something, loser? No, calm down for what? That's our new thing, family. Calm down for what? Pull it down for what? Bring it down for what? Be down for what? No, loser. We do wattage here. High, strong wattage. How many of y'all know the little plug for the phone? That plug don't work if you're trying to plug up an appliance. Talk back to me, somebody. How many of y'all know that the level of power and energy that's required for a stove or refrigerator is not the same as that little thin cord for this. How many of y'all know you better stick with what you can hold and handle? Tell them again, Miss Sharifa. She said high wattage over here. Calm down, bring it down, pull it down for what? This wattage is too much.
It's been very interesting, but for me, this film was very important to me. As a writer director, I've made over $2 billion at the global box office. I'm not yet 40 years old. It's taken a lot.
Listen, Pam.
Of time, commitment, energy, and I've missed out on a lot of things in my life. Making films that will always be owned by other people.
Listen,
for this one, because it was so personal, and because I had the ability to negotiate. I asked for a few things that were very important to me for this project. And for what it was about and what it meant to me and my family. And thankfully, I was able to get those things I was asking for from Warner Brothers.
Well, Ryan, I know you have to go, but reading
Listen.
The Guardian, you're widely considered the highest-grossing Black director in history. Your film Black Panther became the highest-grossing film of all time, directed by an African-American director, grossing over $1.3 billion worldwide. I can't believe I'm saying to you, what do you have to say to young directors? Because you are a young director, but as Sinners comes out, what you want people to take away from it and how you want to inspire, I was going to say the next generation, but actually your generation.
Just so you all know the context of that section of the interview, remember I told you the interview is kind of like 31, 32 minutes long. Well, she's asking him about his unprecedented deal that he made with Warner Brothers for the film. So everybody's talking about all that. That's why he's responding to it. Watch what he says. But notice how she keeps saying he was the top Black for this, the top Black for that, and all that. Watch his response. Y'all listen closely. Now, before that, remember what he just said? He said that he's not even 40 years old yet. He's 38. And his films have already generated $2 billion worldwide, right? Watch what he says.
Well, look, I'm what's called an elder millennial. It's a generation of filmmakers coming up behind me, like that's Gen Z. They'll call them Zoomers. But for them, I think they have an incredible advantage to just having grown up with smartphones in their pockets. I don't think that's an advantage for their psychology. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is an advantage for their filmmaking abilities. To have access to this type of technology constantly, and I think that the movies that I see them make. When I look at things on the internet, I'm just always kind of blown away by the editing style and the way that they see the world. And we need their movies.
Listen,
for me, a lot of my business success has been put in the context of me being Black. And I think that's a part of. I think that's a part of it. The issue when people write about what my films have done. I'll say this: the year Panther 1 came out. Yes, it was the highest grossing film ever made by a Black person. It was also the highest grossing film domestically that year made by anybody. And for some reason that was never talked about.
Before he says this next part, did y'all catch that? He said that's a part of the problem with this narrative. They like to keep saying that he is the highest grossing Black filmmaker for this, director for that. But he said that year when he did Panther 1 domestically, he said it's true. He was a top Black filmmaker, producer, but what else did he say? He said his film domestically was the top, period. Do you all know that this is how they try to continue to diminish the impact of FBAs around the world? We make the world go round. And he's getting ready to prove it in some other ways here in just a moment. He's going to drop a couple more gems. And family, I got to go. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to have to literally cut this off. Y'all stay tuned later and watch my part 1 and part 2 that I did about this very thing on African Diaspora News channel. Okay? Y'all listen.
And for me, what I'll speak to, and after coming off of, this movie and researching Delta Blues music.
Y'all listen.
It's music made by people who the state was built to make it so that they had nothing. to make it so that they had to be sharecroppers. You know what I mean? To make it so that they couldn't leave. To make it so that some of these plantations were so massive that they had their own currency and their own banking systems that they would pay them with. You know.
Stop right there. He said that some of the plantations were so massive. How many of y'all knew that? I've been talking about this for the past couple of days. I've talked about similar things in the past where I broke down to you based on some of my research that how many of you all know that when some of our ancestors were just up from slavery because we ran the world, we're the one created America, when we were quote unquote emancipated, how many of you all know that many of us immediately became high-level governmental officials? How many of you all know that before there was a national currency, that there were more local currencies and a lot of black faces were on some of the local currencies? Did y'all know that? That they were the treasurers and so forth. In these regional areas, we make the world go round. How many of y'all know that some of those plantations were so massive they had their own banking systems and their own currencies? Did you all know that? Believe it or not, I have an idea about a documentary I want to make related to that. I'm gonna talk to some of my people about that. Listen,
they were able to make art that changed the world. That art became rock and roll. That art became the country music empire. That art became hip hop. You know, that art became house music. You know, like the fact that their stories.
I don't think you heard what this man, who you heard in the beginning of the broadcast, if you're just coming in, watch the whole thing. He not only shouted out FBA. What did Ryan Coogler say? He said, I am FBA. And he didn't stop there. He said, what did FBAs do?
Talked about, and for me, what I'll speak to.
What did he say FBA did?
Coming off of, this movie and researching Delta Blues music.
Listen.
It's music made by people who the state was built to make it so that they had nothing.
Yes.
To make it so that they had to be sharecroppers.
Listen.
To make it so that they couldn't leave. To make it so that some of these plantations were so massive that they had their own currency and their own banking systems that they would pay them with. They were able to make art that changed the world. That art became rock and roll. That art became the country music empire. That art became hip hop. That art became house music. Like the fact that.
How many wars have we been in recent years with the Fat Joes of the world and some of you other disgusting haters out there that tried to take credit for creating hip hop? I always tell folks, I'm not going to sit here and talk about this all day. I will tell you all, just go get the receipts. We don't need to chit chat about who we going to speculate invented hip hop. I told you, go get my brother Tariq Nasheed's documentary film called what? Microphone Check, where the originators speak for themselves. But in addition to that, long before I ever heard brother Ryan Coogler say this a few days ago, when he just said this recently in that interview, I was on social media and guess what I said a long time ago? I said, we created blues, rhythm and blues, jazz, rock and roll, country music. I said, Black family, why are we going to sit up here and play like we didn't also create hip hop too? Our brother did not have to seed all that out there. We didn't look for his validation. We just continue to embody who we know we are without the permission of legacy media, establishment media, the government, and other folks that are in high spheres of influence. We did our own thing from the ground up. And other folks are coming around to where we are. Let me tell you something. I gotta go. How many of y'all know that our haters and the people that possess those high places, they jealous and they mad, and they're very likely pissed at him because they feel like he's quote unquote validating us. How many of y'all know we validate ourselves because we are the truth? And that means that we've got to be willing to organize and to support each other online and offline. That means you got to be more intentional about making sure that we have everything that we need and that we're supported and that we're backed financially, in your physical support, your online support, and otherwise. That's on you all to do as well. Because the war is not for Vicki. The war is on us. And how many of y'all know there are different types of soldiers? So for those of y'all that's hating, I said in one of my posts recently, when I replayed on my Instagram page, a part of my speech for the Foundation of Black American FBA reparations rally we did last year in Washington, D.C., one of the things I said in my post, I said, baby, I'm every woman. I'm local, I'm national, I'm international, and I'm interdimensional. Because I embrace FBA doesn't mean I'm not also the mother of all civilization. And it does not mean that I cannot speak to what's going on in the rest of the world. It's just that I know my priorities and I know what's first things first. I know that first things are first. That's the thing. You understand? There's so much more to this. I've got an upcoming free webinar soon, family. I haven't given the official date yet. That's another reason why I got to get ready to go literally right now. So I want you to stay tapped in, family. Be sure to check out my upcoming community posts in the upcoming days where I'm going to be releasing that announcement for the next webinar, baby. I'm going to be breaking it down. Not only when I'm talking about certain groups, it's because of the impact that they could have on the world. And there's an interconnection between us, Black folk in America, and some of our family in the diaspora around the world. So when you hear folks say Vicki gives the unmatched webinars ever, the most magical, informative, I know y'all be thinking I'm playing. But that's why I do a lot of this stuff offline. I have high-level war room sessions with folks just like you. And how many of you all know that in the beginning was a word? The worlds were created by word. So if you're going to change your word, you need to be sitting under a different type of word, different type of news, different type of information. Watch this, a different type of energy, a different type of spiritual energy that gives you insight that will cause you to be successful and to set yourself up as the new world rulers. Yes. So stay tuned. Be sure to get in my email list at VickiPlanet.com. That's my website. You can get your mini gavels, your angel calendars there as well. But just go to the front page of my website, VickiPlanet.com. I'm going to make sure that the team pins it when I'm done. I'll go to my website, scroll to the bottom of the website, and then just input your email information. That way, whenever my book comes out soon, my album that's going to be coming my own, my Vedic solo album that's coming out soon that I did years ago, but with so many unbelievable delays and changes. But the divine set it up to where it's meant for me to release it solo in this season, with this year, I should say, for such a time as this, as well as one of two of my books. I was writing on my book, The Dark Goddess Invasion. I've been on The Dark Goddess for many years, but that book is coming out second. I'm doing a mini book first about the naval access point on Earth and about faith being the unseen. It's very powerful. That's going to be a mini book. All that's coming out this year. And we got the school going, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm making sure that I put the Goddess health first. You understand there's a lot going on. So thank you for your patience. But that's the reason why I so appreciate your support. Yes, thank you so much for tuning in again. If you want to watch me live more often, I'm live on African Diaspora News Channel Network. Yes, Tuesday through Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. I also give international content in addition to the lives there. And of course, like I told you, I'm going to be doing more content here on my personal channel. And of course, I'm on all major platforms, social media. Yes. So tap in. Yes, I got a whole lot going on. So just get on my email list at VickiPlanet.com so that you don't miss a beat, and check out my store there. Yes, I love you so much. I bow to you. You are my bliss. I can't wait to see you again.